What up, gamers? I'm Jason, and today on Dice and Dragons, it's Morphin' time! Fortunately, I don't have an actual Power Morpher. I will be reviewing the Bulk and Skull character packs for Saban's Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. Now, these characters, if I'm not mistaken, were designed by Jonathan Ying. Well, how they play, not the actual characters themselves. So, what am I going to be doing in this video? We are going to take a look at the components for the Bulk and Skull character pack, and then I will be giving you a review of the game. Now, normally I would do this type of review with Julie, but the characters didn't really interest her. Now, just a quick reminder about Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. It is a game for 2 to 5 players, up to 6 if you do have any of the expansions. It plays in about 60 to 90 minutes, and it is a cooperative game. What you're going to be doing is you will have a circular board. You'll have the power chamber. Well, it should be the power chamber now since the Zeo pack has now been released. But the command center, or if you've got Shattered Grid, the Time Force base. And then you're going to have an area that surrounds it. You'll be moving around those areas, defending it from Rita Repulsa or any of the other numerous Power Rangers villains like Lord Zed, if you have the Kickstarter exclusives, the Wizard of Deception, Lord Draken, as you work to save Angel Grove, because face it, it always happens in Angel Grove, from the forces of evil. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at what's in the box, and then we'll be back with our review. Now we're going to take a quick look at what's inside the Bulk and Skull character pack. Now, for those of you that do not know the comics, this is from Mighty Morphin Annual number 1. Now the box is a little tricky to get undone. I will definitely be storing this stuff in the main box, but we'll see what's inside. Now we just have some promo papers for other Power Ranger stuff. We get a book from Renegade on their new games, how they've also divided up their games with strategy games and the new miniature games. Get rid of that, not that interesting. We want to see Bulk and Skull. So we're going to set that up over here. Now we've got the character cards. Now we do get, oh, awesome. I forgot that they have Zords as well. So we'll take a look at Farkas, Bulkmeyer, Big Bully. Once per battle, you may verbally insult one enemy card, then discard one card from your hand to deal 1 damage to that enemy card. Great way to finish something off. Eugene Skulovich, Mighty Morphin Orange. Once per battle, when another ranger defeats an enemy card, you may offer them a high five. If they accept, that ranger may choose 1 card from the discard pile and return it to the bottom of their deck. That is pretty cool. Like, the stuff is definitely fun and not to be taken as seriously as the other Rangers, but I do like it. It works well in the spirit of this expansion and how they're presented in the comics. So, the Baconodon, exhaust this card when any Ranger suffers to increase that damage by 1, then deal 3 damage to an enemy card of your choice. That's not bad. You can definitely take out some nasty cards with that. And the Featherdactyl, exhaust this card to allow any Ranger to choose any number of cards from their discard pile and return them to the bottom of their deck. That Ranger must then discard an equal number of cards from the top of their deck. Well, depending on what you have and what you haven't gone through, those can be pretty good. So definitely some interesting gameplay aspects that we're going to see with the 2 characters. Let's take a look at the minis. They're definitely more comedic in nature than their other ones. Same solid plastic quality that we got. Not that detailed, but still pretty good. Just like all the minis for the game. But I have definitely seen some beautiful paints of them. Then we've got Skulovich. Gotta love Skull. It's unfortunate he didn't make more appearances throughout the course of the history of the show, but definitely I'm digging the mini. Now, we're not going to spend as much time looking at their cards as we did taking a look at, like the character card and the Zord. I'm sure they have a lot of the standard stuff that we see with the other Rangers as well. So let's just get this opened up. So we do have, got some plastic stuck there. Some maneuvers, Big Pig Energy. Gain 1 energy the next time you perform an attack during this battle. Add 2 dice to that attack. After you play this card, place it on top of your deck instead of discarding it. That's pretty cool. Cockroach Combo. Another ranger may discard 1 card from their hand to add 2 dice to this attack. That card is named Cockroach Combo. Add 4 dice instead. Interesting. So that's pretty neat. So it does look like there's some ways to use Bulk and Skull together. Let's take a look at Skull's cards. Chancy Chop. Before rolling, choose even or odds. If the number of successes, hits, results, you roll matches your choice. Gain 1 energy and return this card to your hand instead of discarding it. Pretty cool. There's the other Cockroach Combo card. Fight or Flight. Reaction. Play this card when any ranger suffers damage to flip a coin. If heads, deal 2 damage to an enemy card of your choice. If tails, reduce the damage by 2. That is pretty neat. Finger Guns, High Five Strike. So you do get some pretty cool stuff for these 2 characters. Now, we're going to box this all back up. But as I said, we'll probably be keeping this box around for our review of a lot of the Power Rangers expansion content. We haven't gone to things like Cyclopsis and the Foot Soldier pack. Not sure when we're going to get to those. But just wanted to show you what we got in the Bulk and Skull character pack. So keep it right here. So the Bulk and Skull character packs. And now I must say I was actually quite pleasantly surprised by the 2 characters. When I went to play them, I was going through the cards and they just seemed a little goofy. They actually have some elements of play that require you to potentially fist bump another ranger, high five someone. Now, if you know where these 2 characters actually come from, they are from a Boom Studios Mighty Morphin Power Rangers annual, and it was a special one-off issue. Basically, they are the dream characters of Bulk and Skull. So they're not meant to be taken seriously. Now, in the last game that we played with them, I took on the Wizard of Deception, as well as some very challenging monsters from the Kickstarter exclusives, and they perform surprisingly well. A lot of their abilities are really fun, even though they're a little bit goofy. You can do some really neat stuff. For example, the card, the Big Bomb, where you do 2 die worth of damage, but then flip the card, and depending on where it lands, you can damage pretty much everything else with 3 damage. That proved to be pretty good. Bulk's cards where he has to increase the damage that someone takes, including a Zord, but is then able to deal damage to a specific card, came in a lot more useful than I expected. It let us clean up some enemies that sort of were hanging around. Also take out some boss cards that had previously activated, boss and monster cards, to make sure that we were able to wipe the board. And it was just a lot of fun. So that's really the way Bulk sort of plays. He's got a lot of cards that will potentially damage him or increase damage, but will give him a very high offensive ability. He can also generate some energy and also add dice to his cards. Sorry, add dice to his attacks, of course, to his cards. Attacks, let's not get into the little details there. Now we'll talk about Skull. So Skull's cards are a little different. They also have that little bit of a physical effect, asking people to high five. His special ability is one that I actually like more than Bulk's. I'll just mention that before I forget. So Bulk's special ability, you can discard a card and deal 1 damage to any card in the combat board. That came in very useful. What I like about Skulls is that with him, you're able to high five someone after they defeat an enemy, and then they're able to take a card from their discard pile and put it back at the bottom of their deck. You can do that once per battle, so that really helps with limiting sort of what you need to do, making recover actions a little bit more powerful. I also really liked the flip a coin effect on some of his cards. I'm drawing a blank on the name of it now, but it was pretty neat. You could either reduce damage or deal damage to any card. I really like those. The card Pew Pew, where you need to do the finger guns, and then you can deal 2 damage to 2 cards that you basically pew-pewed. Just sort of fun. And I really thought it was going to take me out of the game, but I actually found that I stayed in the game. The characters are ridiculous. They're from a ridiculous comic book. And if you look at the show, Bulk and Skull were ridiculous themselves. So everything just flows together with surprisingly strong mechanics that really work in a game. When I was reading them, I absolutely thought this was going to be like just buy it if you're a completionist. But suffice it to say, I really enjoyed the Bulk and Skull character pack. I actually give this expansion a 7.5. Don't love the designs. That's not on Renegade. That's entirely on Boom Studios, as they're the ones that design these characters. But if you're looking for some fun, new content for your game, I can definitely say that you're not going to be disappointed with this character pack. So with that being said, it's now time to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when our next video is released. Down below in the video description, you will find links to all of our social media feeds: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you'd like to see pictures of me playing with Bulk and Skull, well, they'll be on our social media feeds. And then popping up in front of me are going to be 2 links back to our previously released content. One is going to take you to our review and how to play of Power Rangers, Heroes of the Grid. The other will take you back to our most recent video. And with that being said, don't forget everyone, when you're in trouble, it's morphin' time!